Hello, on this second Sunday after Epiphany. May wisdom be with us during this time of reflection. Jesus and his disciples were really ready to party. You know, bottoms up. You know, time to relax, time to congratulate your friends, time to really lay back and have a good time. Bottoms up. But are we in for a wonderful surprise? And so is Jesus. Now, what I enjoy about this Spirit is the undertone of intrigue, of the exchange between Mary, the mother of Jesus, and Jesus. They have run out of wine, my son. And Jesus responds, Mother, my time has not yet come. Now, some scholars suggest that may be a tone of reprimand. Others suggest that that was a cultural, everyday way of addressing your mother. But I think that is beside the point. We've come a long way since Jesus' time, and we know a lot about how the mind works. And I would like to look at this story as if I was reading it for the first time, as if I knew nothing about Christianity, as if a stranger knocked on my door and said, hey, listen, I want to hear a story. And I said, here, read this one. It's about a wedding. Now, here's something I might say. Well, Jesus was thinking, hey, man, I'm not ready. I ain't ready for this yet. Oh, this is not the time or the place to work miracles. Hey, listen, nobody's suffering. Nobody's lame. Everybody's having a good time, so I can't see any sin so far. What? What do you need me for? Now it seems that Jesus, if I were in his place, and I have been and you have been too in his place, where you're called to do something that has totally knocked you off balance, that it wasn't supposed to be in the plan. Don't you think that Jesus went through the same type of turbulence, for lack of a better term, that I have a different plan, or someone has a different plan for me? And Jesus changed his mind. In other words, we may very well say bottoms up at a wedding at Cana, that Jesus was doing a ministry of joy, rather than perhaps a different kind of ministry that he engaged in healing the sick. And in other words, he had to go bottoms up in his understanding of his ministry. He had to look, from my point of view, at, wait a minute, this is a different context, with a different meaning, with a different call that I must attend to. Now, the trappings of this story, in terms of the reflection of Jewish tradition and the church and the bridegroom of Christ, and all the doctrinal embellishments that go with this story, really leaves me with the bottom line, existentially and spiritually intense moment when your understanding of what you're here to do and what you're to respond to is turned upside down, goes bottom up. And you'll also discover that when Jesus did this with you as well, that the best comes out in you and in that particular situation because you cracked open your ministry, yourself, your way of being in the world, your way of relating to the world. Now, I would like to take you for a little journey with me right this moment. And I want you to stop with me, and I want you to think of the best ministry you have ever done. When the wine tasting of your ministry was tops. And I'm just going to stand here with you, with the glass right side up. And we're going to drink to that. Let's sit in that moment when you were really blossoming and at your peak in your ministry, in your Christian witness, in your Christian practice. And I'm just going to stand here with you for 30 seconds. So cheers to that ministry. Now what I'd like you to do is think of a time in your life right now where you are faced with a challenge, where you are frustrated. People really don't become real to us till they frustrate us. So the people in your life that I'm talking about that really frustrate you, that really push your boundaries, where you're framed in by your own prejudice and assumptions, and all of a sudden you're there present to something very different than yourself. And that context calls you out. Spong in his book, Why Christianity Must Change or Die, he talks about the Christ as spirit person. And he talks about a spirit that speaks of a discontent rising out of the human situation that compels us to venture into the unknown. Jesus was in a human situation that where there was discontent. And he had to venture into something he did not expect to do. In the same way, there are situations where you are incredibly challenged. And I would like to ask you to take the values and the skills and the attention that you had in that moment that we just drank to and turn the bottom up in a different context where you exercise radical welcome to your call in Christian practice, whatever that might be. And what will happen was you will be surprised at how good it tastes. Bottoms up. And thank you, Wisdom, for being with us today.